Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Tough loss for our boys tonight. 28-24, Sunday Night Football. Take L to the Minnesota Vikings. Congratulations to Minnesota. Crucial win in the NFC. Just a really tough loss considering the effort and the performance of Dak Prescott. So we're going to get into breaking down the game. But first, I want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors, Boss's Ranch. We love this Red River Ranch flavor. Boss's Red River Ranch, Boss's Ranch. Guys, go check them out, HEB in the cold produce section. These guys have done a wonderful job with their marketing on social media, so hit up their links, Instagram, Twitter, what have you, and get you some Boss's Ranch, best darn ranch in all of Texas. Speaking of Texas, Dallas Cowboys, right? So, again, we get off to the slow start. Again, we have the defensive issues. Again, we have some of the pass protection issues, clock management at the end of the game, missed field goal at the end of the game, points that could have helped us later. Seems to be a recurring theme, right? But I'm a big picture guy, and I know a lot of people are gonna tomorrow when you look at First Take and Undisputed, and because right now I'm filming this late night Sunday. You're going to hear the conversation's going to begin on the 2nd and 2, the 3rd and 2, the 4th and 5, and ultimately the incomplete pass to really end the game, right? And deservedly so. That's going to be a big conversation point. But as a big picture guy, I want to know what is a problem versus a long-term issue. And to me, the play calling is a problem. But the long-term issue for us has been this run defense, specifically against teams that line up in power it the way the Minnesota Vikings do. And there's several teams in our conference that do this very well, right? So if we want to get to where we want to get to, and many of us say we want to see the Cowboys at least get to the conference championship game for us to feel good about this coaching staff moving forward. Well, last year, and it's funny because this game in a lot of ways reminded me of the Los Angeles Rams playoff game. And I know it wasn't the same bowling ball type of effect, but in terms of somebody literally running the ball down your throats. And the Vikings, when you look at the stat sheet, you say, well, we held Dalvin Cook technically under 100 yards. I know he had the kind of the lost yardage at the end of the game, but when you look at how this game played out and you include the screen game, which is an extension of the run game, they hammered it down our throats. They took the ball out of their quarterback's hand for the most part. Kirk Cousins was able to capitalize on a few play action opportunities. We're selling out. We got numbers in the box. So for everybody that's, talking about why can't we run with Zeke, great question considering we were putting numbers in the box to stop Dalvin Cook, and they didn't seem to have an issue. They just blocked those people. We all of a sudden, as soon as there's a man or two in the box, we can't seem to block it. We can't seem to get out on the edge. We can't pass guys off. But that's an offensive line issue. Going back to the defense, saw last year with the Colts. We saw it against the Rams. Everything we saw from Dalvin Cook today, and he was sensational. He broke several tackles in the backfield, ran hard. Alexander Madison, the brother out of Boise State, ran hard several times. And it's just little things, right? Running a toss sweep out of bounds. He engages in contact with Leighton Vander Esch and puts his head down, gets another 3 yards. A lot of guys in the league run out of bounds in that situation after that type of blow. These guys run hard, and that's their nature, their culture. Mike Zimmer, hard-nosed coach football team, right? But when you're looking at how we need to attack these type of teams, we're not built to stop it, because there's nothing that Dalvin Cook did today that we didn't see Aaron Jones do to us a month ago, right? And we still have, or even when we're up against, and the Saints didn't crush us in the run game, but in terms of moving the ball underneath, kind of taking advantage of certain things. And that's what really concerns me, because I know number 4 on our team is a warrior. I've been saying that, but you guys that are naysayers or non-believers in terms of the quarterback and get caught up in the social and the media narrative and all that type of stuff, yeah, you guys will continue to question him. And we did the same thing with number 9, right? And it's funny because when you look at the Jason Garrett era, this is mirrored a lot of the ways we lost with Tony Romo back in the day. You know, Tony Romo would throw for a bunch of yards. Couldn't get the run game going today, but Kettle's on his back. Last time, we get the last drive, and defense, gets gashed all day, but we get the last drive and get down there, and it's a questionable play call. And how many games did we lose like that with Tony Romo? And here we are with a completely different quarterback, completely different personnel, different stars, same problem. Same way we lose on defense as well, right? And it's basic stuff that the Vikings are running. And I know, let me not shortchange that. I know the influence of Gary Kubiak, and I'm glad they highlighted him in the box. And you guys known traditionally what they've done with the Denver Broncos, and his fingerprints are all over the Vikings offense in a myriad of ways. But at the end of the day, they're running basic toss sweep. They're running toss sweep right, toss sweep left. 4th and goal, they run toss sweep right. They play action off of it on 2-point conversion. These are all opportunities for us to get stops and help the team out. We don't get them. And that's, to me, the long-term issue with this football team. And I will continue to say that on this channel. I spent a lot of time talking about this after that playoff game. And we address, we get a Michael Bennett, and that's great. And it's great to help out the pass rush. But damn it, these guys are only going to help you if you're ahead. And that goes back to the other issue. You don't start these games well enough, and you don't get a good enough lead to play from ahead, right? So we immediately come out flat again. We go down 14-0. So we're flat on both sides of the ball. We're down 14-0. But because we're talented, and because we have playmakers, and because we have a really good quarterback, we go up again, 21-20? And so now we're in this back and forth. But that's how it's always been in the Jason Garrett era. And so tonight was just really more of the same when you're looking at where we're going to go. Because ultimately, I do think we're going to win the division and make the playoffs. I still believe that. There's nothing I saw tonight that told me that we can't beat the Eagles again and hold on and win the division. Everybody keeps talking about our schedule on the back end. It looks like we're not even going to play Matthew Stafford next week. Like, some of these games are, yes, we lost to the Jets and all that, and I get it, we'll get into NFL stuff later because the Saints get blown out at home against the Falcons coming off of a bye week, and they get the any given Sunday pass, but we didn't seem to get that for losing to the Jets. But bad loss is a bad loss any given Sunday. But I look at this big picture. When we make the playoffs, it's just going to be the same thing. Whether it's a wild card or a divisional game, when you start to match up against these teams that we talk about wanting to have an identity of playing power football with Ezekiel Elliott, and we talk about this offensive line. But that's actually the Vikings' identity. That's actually the 49ers' identity. That's what the Rams used to be. They ain't that no more, right? So you look at, these are the teams that you're going to have to get through. Even the Packers, how they beat us. Now, I know they're very inconsistent in terms of their offensive identity right now under Matt LaFleur. But big picture, what is this thing going to look like when we get to the end, assuming we win the games we're supposed to win and we make it there? It's just more of the same. And tonight was a preview. Like, tonight, I could look at us losing a playoff game like this. And we have lost playoff games like this. We've lost playoff games like this with Tony Romo. We've lost playoff games like this with Dak Prescott. But I would say both of his losses in the playoffs have been this particular case. And it's not deep. It really isn't. You guys want to spend time talking about Ezekiel Elliott? Yes, he got significantly outplayed by Dalvin Cook. I still think Zeke is an elite running back, and he has nothing he needs to prove. Did he have his best game tonight? No. Did he have opportunities in the open field on some of the catches where he was tackled by a corner at times and did make the guy miss? Yeah. Dalvin Cook would have probably made Mike Hughes miss out there in the flats. But the stuff in between the tackles isn't 100% on Zeke. We do have a high-priced guard there. We have a high-priced center. We have a second-round guard. We have all this invested. We have 2 tackles who are graded in the top 10 at their positions according to Pro Football Focus. They all got their ass whooped today. Let's just keep it 100. I mean, even the plays that Dak Prescott, because we need to talk about Dak, right? We would have got blown out tonight if it's not for number 4. So put some respect on his name. Unfortunately, we don't know if it's the coaches or if he had if they decided to, we understand they're trying to play clock game, score, run some clock and all that. I've always been scoring should always be the priority, and if you have to do it quicker, so be it. But they got caught up in that. 2nd and 2, I don't mind, since everybody's going to want to talk about the play calling anyway, let's talk about it. I don't mind them running the ball whether it's 2nd or 3rd down, but I would have liked to see one of those RPO slants or any of the quick game stuff we were getting throughout that drive. We were on a 95-yard march almost. So to take the football out of your best player's hands and that particular moment when he's balling out is very frustrating. It's frustrating, the separation that Amari Cooper was getting, the plays that Michael Gallup was making, the plays that Randall Cobb was making, even Blake Jarwin, right? Like, we need to get him on the field a little bit more. I love Jason Witten. I love, everything he's done for the Cowboys, but the run after catch and the big plays that Jarwin seems to create when he's out there with the limited snaps, I mean, at some point it's got to be at least a 50-50 split with the snaps. I mean, Jason Witten is, he does provide value and he should play. He should be playing still, a decent amount of snaps, but we got to get Blake Jarwin out there a little bit more. But despite all that mess going on around Dak and him getting hit still consistently in the pocket, hit outside the pocket, he's, making plays. He was a playmaker tonight at quarterback and kept us alive, down 14-0, got us back in the game, got hot in the 2nd quarter. The plays that he's making on the outside to Amari Cooper, who, battles through the knee bruises and the foot and the ankle and everything he's dealing with, and he looked like Jerry Rice tonight. Some of the catches and the acrobatics he's doing on the sideline. So, our talent is there, but when you take the ball out of their hands and yeah, we're putting in the hands of number 21 and hoping he can make something happen, and him and the offensive line. I think the 3rd down one was more of a zone read look. The guy stays home. When the guy stays home, the read for the quarterbacks to give. And we've had a lot of success in short yardage throughout the entire careers of Dak and Zeke. So I'm not saying throw that in the trash or anything, but considering the game flow, considering how Mike Zimmer came into this game wanting to eliminate Ezekiel Elliott, he accomplished his mission, and it ultimately helped his team win the football game, period. That defensive line whooped our offensive line's ass. And football games are won in the trenches, guys, because I would say their offensive line, minus DeMarcus Lawrence, who had an amazing game today, their offensive line, even with backups filtering in, did an incredible job against our defensive line and generating and giving Dalvin Cook enough space to work, right? And so both lines, if we lose, barring miraculous quarterback play, you're going to come up short. And that seems to be the recurring theme again of our football team, period. Zeke Elliott had 44 yards? Matt, he had 44 yards in the Rams playoff game? Tonight he has 47. Like, that's on 20 carries, 2 yards a pop. Not going to get it done. Period. I mean, I hate to keep saying period, but these things are definitive to me now. And that's why I'm not, just off the handle upset, because I already know how this is going to play out. We're good, but we're not great. We're not there where we need to be, in my opinion. And I'll continue to do these breakdowns and break it down week by week on what I see. I mean, right now we're reacting real time to the football game we all just watched. But they're losing the same way. They haven't fixed that. And yeah, you want to gas up your pass rush a little bit more and get Michael Bennett? Great. Well, if you're not going to start the game, fast and get up on somebody else 14-0 and make them uncomfortable, make Kirk Cousins beat you with no Adam Thielen. Next week, you're going to play the Lions with most likely no Matthew Stafford. You played the Packers with no Devontae Adams. You played the Saints with no Drew Brees. I mean, what's it going to be, Jason Garrett? Because ultimately, it all rolls upstairs. And until I see something different, since he's been here, 2010, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a very good product. He's proven he can win the division, and he's proven he can be very successful in this division. In the NFC East, I'm talking about. But in terms of the grand picture, right now, I don't know what anybody could see that would make you feel otherwise about us going beyond the divisional round and getting to the goals that we all want to get to. I'd love to hear everybody else's comments. I know I kind of went more big picture on this, but it's just things to think about, guys. We've seen great quarterback performances. Tony Romo, Dak Prescott. We've had running backs here, you know, DeMarco Murray, Zeke Elliott, even Marion Barbarian back in the day. Hope that brother gets well mentally. All the way through, man. Jason Witten, Dez Bryant, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup now, Randall Cobb, Cole Beasley. Like think about all these names. Think about the defense, DeMarcus Ware, Sean Lee. You know, and granted, Sean Lee's at the end of his run. I think we saw a little bit of that tonight. That's the thing about old players. Every now and again, they'll have that spark and that juice of where they used to be. But, you know, at the end, it's like then we go up against the guys like a Dalvin Cook, and it's like, oh, yeah, he's – or Kyle Rudolph, who just treats Cheeto and some of the other guys. It doesn't matter. It's our culture. It's what we are as a franchise right now. So, like I said, curious to see what everybody else says. Sorry if this video went a little bit longer than I thought, but just trying to get these things out of my mind real time and want to start the conversation with y'all. So, not happy about it, but at the same token, I'm not surprised. So, peace.